And then it's just a video file, you know, not so it wasn't embedded. It's not embedded in the slides this time.
Oh, okay, thanks. I can look for it, but then I just have the PowerPoint that you sent before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll still be pushing the advance arrow. I hope it works. Worked last time. Let's see. Mm-mm. Yeah, I love when this happens.
Hey, Professor.
Hey.
Do you have the recorded video from last Zoom?
I don't have it from last time.
Oh, okay, because I was hoping you would. I just needed to listen to some stuff.
Oh, I see. With any luck, I'll copy this today.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't realize there were other people in here. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's the afternoon class.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute myself now. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Uh-oh. Okay, so I guess we can start. I've got the same problem as I would have had. I can't find the other file, so this is just the PowerPoint. I'll advance the slides for you. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, I can send it to you again, unless you just.
If you could, then I can load it on Canvas, the repository for the class, and they can watch it later. I did see the video. It was nice. It was like only about 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fast. It's just a PSA.
Yeah. So I can share that in class on Monday and Tuesday.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds good.
okay. So whenever you'd like to start, I'll just push the buttons as you tell me to again. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And hello, everyone. My name is Christy Nishita, and I work at UH at the Center on Aging. And my role at the Center on Aging is to work in the community to improve the quality of life, of Kupuna in our state. And we do this a number of ways, through research, through education and outreach, and also we partner a lot. So in this case, I'm going to be talking about an initiative where I'm partnering with the city and county of Honolulu on what's called an age-friendly city initiative. So my purpose today is to provide you with some background information that will help you prepare for your senior field project. And so the background I'm going to give you is namely that, we're living in an aging society. We have an aging population. And this increase in the proportion of older adults in our society is often painted as a problem, but I'd like for you to see it as an opportunity as business students, and then when in your future career, having this knowledge about what it means to be age friendly and for businesses to cater to this older population. So let's get started. So again, as I mentioned, we have an aging population, and what this graph is showing here is the proportion of our population age 65 and older, and you can see across the bottom, it's throughout the years, from past going into the future on that, across the bottom there. And the red line is the United States, the growth rate in the older population. And the blue line is Hawaii. So you can see that our population, the percent 65 plus, is absolutely increasing. And you can see this crossover for Hawaii where the lines meet. And so in fact, right now, Hawaii is growing older at a faster pace than the rest of the United States. So that's significant. Next slide, please. And so oftentimes you might see this in the media where this aging of our population is seen as a problem, a problem that we need to address. You can see the headline there. It's a gray dawn, a global aging crisis. It's an aging tsunami, painting this like a natural disaster, that's coming for us when it's not necessarily so. Next slide, please. Okay, so at the Center on Aging, we like, to talk to the community and say it's not necessarily a problem. An aging society can also be an opportunity for us, an opportunity. And so, no, go ahead, that's okay. Go ahead to the next slide. And so there are cities across the country that are engaging in an effort to be more age-friendly. With the recognition that our population is aging, the goal is to be more age-friendly. Similar to being, kid-friendly, this is an understanding of what it means to be an age-friendly city for all ages. So that definition there about an age-friendly city as a place that purposefully designs places and policies to benefit our older adults and maximize their opportunity to be active and engaged in the community. So that's a definition of what is an age-friendly city. So in 2014, with the support of Mayor Caldwell and also an organization called AARP Hawaii, Honolulu launched its Age-Friendly Honolulu initiative. And you can see on the left side a copy of our action plan that we put together after the planning phase. And so Honolulu is part of this national network. There's about 130, 140 cities now across the US that have taken this on as an initiative and embraced this concept of being more age-friendly and how a city can better support its elders. So we're part of a national network of similar cities that are doing this. And so as part of that, you know, it being a city effort, we're looking at ways city departments and city services can be more age friendly, you know. But at the same time, we're looking to engage the broader community in embracing this concept of embracing our Kupuna population. And in this case, we have a age-friendly business initiative that we are calling Kind to Kupuna. Yeah, this business initiative. And the goal of Kind to Kupuna is to basically raise awareness. So we're trying to reach businesses here on the island and just raise awareness of our growing older population, and you know, the potential of an older consumer market. And when it comes to the business products and services, you know, creating a more inclusive and accessible environment can be very, very beneficial for our Kupuna and for the business. And so in this slide, I want to share with you some data about the older adults as consumers. And so this next few slides are from a report by AARP. Again, you probably see their commercials and things around on TV. Stands for American Association of Retired Persons. It's a membership organization for those 50 and older. That's why this first stat over here says 50 plus. You know, 50 and older. Yeah, it's a membership organization. You get discounts. That's probably how you know them. It's from the discounts. But they also do a lot of advocacy, and they also do a lot of research too. So this is one of their research products. They put together a report called the Longevity Economy, basically recognizing, you know, we're living longer, there's more, you know, older adults than ever before. And so, you know, how can we rethink what it means to live in this aging society from an economic perspective? And so this stat here says, you know, the 50 plus households, they generate more than half of consumer spending in Hawaii. So I'll say this is a national report, but they broke down statistics by state. And so I'm reporting Hawaii data here. And so that's equivalent to 25.8 billion annually. Next slide, please. And so that same report also showed that this population spends more per capita than younger adults, and responsible for a greater share of spending on these cars and trucks and personal care products, entertainment. You know, there's often that perspective that, you know, marketing often targets youth. You know, as their prime target, but the data is showing, you know, who has the spending power. Not surprisingly, you know, given that they're older and they have, you know, resources, accumulated savings and things like that. So just a recognition and awareness that, you know, our older population does have a lot of spending power as well. Next slide, please. And so for Kind to Kupuna, again, Kind to Kupuna is our age-friendly business initiative. We talked to a lot of people when we got this off the ground. So we held different focus groups with Kupuna. We also did a paper survey of more than 400 Kupuna. And we were just, you know, with the focus groups, we were just talking to them. We really wanted to know, hey, you know, what's your experiences as you're out and about in the community during the day? You know, whether it's shopping, restaurants, you know, other businesses, you know, what are your experiences? What are the challenges that you face? You know, and either at the business itself or getting to the business, issues with the bus or issues with the sidewalk and the intersections, along the path that you take to the business. So we really just wanted to know, what their challenges are when they're out in the community and frequenting different businesses. Um, and so we collected all that information, including the paper survey, and put it all together. And if a business had certain age-friendly features, and I'll get to those features in a moment, but if a business had these age-friendly features, Kupuna were twice as likely to be a customer, but also a return customer as well, a repeat customer as well. Next slide, please. And so I think if you click through it, the different components will pop up. No?
Oh, it's not. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. No, that's okay. So let's just skip it. We can skip that slide. I don't know what happened to my different components. Let's just go here. Okay. So what does it mean? What does it mean to be an age-friendly business? Yeah, and so an age-friendly business is one that welcomes older consumers and tries to meet their needs and recognizes that this is an economically powerful consumer group. And so think about your grandparents, think about older relatives, that have this kind of spending power, but at the same time might need a little extra support, and we'll be going through the different components. So ideally, an age-friendly business is accommodating and supportive to people who have any kind of disability, like a physical disability, maybe some vision loss, hearing loss, those who are using a walker or a wheelchair. So this is also including younger people with disabilities too. And as you will see when we talk through these different age-friendly business features, that this is also beneficial to mothers who are pushing a stroller. And, if you ever broke a leg and on crutches, it's really universal. It's really universal in its design. So let's go through what are those features of an age-friendly business. So there's 4 components, and I am presenting them to you as ideas. This is certainly not an exhaustive list. I love to see, what students can come up with. But this is just to get you started and to start getting you thinking. Yeah. So the first one is marketing, and the research is showing that older consumers tend to be less influenced by trends and fads than their younger counterparts. And so the pictures across the bottom, have some tips about embracing this older consumer group, like making sure you feature older adults in commercials or ads. Older adult discounts are really popular, like Zippy's senior card program and other senior discounts. And even when it comes to the design of products, in that far right picture, there's an opportunity there for engineering and for design to help older adults, in this case, living in their home, who need to reach something from a high shelf, any kind of technology that can help them stay at home and be safe at home, and prevent accidents or falls that might lead them to the hospital or to a nursing home. And so we need to appreciate that, the needs of older adults, and they are diverse. I'm sure you guys know of older relatives, some in their 80s that are still going to church, going fishing on Sunday. But at the same time, you might know someone in their 50s or 60s who have diabetes or other chronic illnesses that, aren't getting around as well. So this is a very diverse population. So I'm not saying that this is easy or it's just so diverse to think about all the different varying needs that this population might have. But it's just an awareness and that this is a very diverse group. Next slide, please. And so, so these slides are tailored, to a business. Could you improve your marketing strategies with older adults? And the bullet points are some ideas for how marketing materials can be more tailored to this population. You can read through the bullets. I don't need to read all of them, but creating inclusive marketing material where older adults are visible, so it shows that you are aware that they are important customers and you're embracing them. The discounts are always good, and things like menus and brochures, offering it both online marketing materials online and in print as well, since our current Kupuna population, didn't grow up with technology like younger generations have. So those are some marketing considerations. The next slide has a few more as well. So next slide, please. Are you able? Oh, this is the next slide. Okay, got it. And so, I mean, even certain fonts, when you think about marketing materials, are more age-friendly. So these sans serif style fonts and Arial and Geneva, at least in 12 point for marketing materials, that's usually the guide. So it's easier on the eyes and easier to read. And even the materials with high contrast color combinations are better. So black on white paper, for example, orange on blue, there's a high contrast there. So signage and marketing materials that are closer in color, like orange font on a peach background, is not as age friendly on the eyes because of that lack of the contrast. And so even things like websites need to keep in mind how accessible those websites are, and make it easier to navigate for our Kupuna. Next slide, please. Okay, so the next category. So we first talked about marketing. This second one is ambiance. And primarily this category is really about lighting and sound, because as we get older, we have changes in our hearing and in our vision. And so businesses that are age friendly are able to accommodate those changes. And so when you see those pictures across the bottom, that's some examples. Provide a range of background music from the examples there, different decades. You can see in the middle picture having spotlights under particular products that you're featuring. And then the far right is an idea around sound absorption so that it limits background noise. Because let's say in a busy restaurant, it's very hard to have a conversation if there's loud music or a lot of background noise. Next slide, please. And so these are some ideas for changes that are possible to become more age-friendly. So lowering the volume on music, having quiet areas of the business, and then limiting naturally noisy construction and machines to the extent possible, and installing noise absorption measures. And every time, when I think of an age-friendly business and its features, it always comes into my mind stores like Hollister and Abercrombie, because I know that it's not for Kupuna. I know that's not who they're targeting, but I always, when I see this criteria of ambiance, I always think of them because of the dim lighting and the loud music. And I'm always there because I'm there with my daughter, and she's there very often. And I just think about this criteria of ambiance, and that how much this really applies here in this case. Next slide, please. Yeah, so some other tips related to lighting, cutting down on glare and having adequate lighting throughout, especially marking entrances and exits. It's just to accommodate these vision changes and make it easier to navigate around your business. That's the bottom line with the lighting. So having that ample lighting will help, even with reading signage and getting around the business. Next slide, please. So this next one is about design. And this is probably one that you're thinking of more commonly, being accessible and wheelchair accessible. So that's true. So at a minimum, we think of an age-friendly business as being accessible to people with wheelchairs or walkers. But we are, taking it a step further here when we think of an age-friendly business, because it's not just meeting those minimum accessibility requirements. We want to create a more supportive environment and including different features in your business, even if it's not federally mandated, like the ADA requirements are. But there are ways to accommodate people of different ages and abilities. The examples there, bright paint to make stairs easier to see, these ramps to get in and out of the business itself, and even things like benches. It's surprising you don't think of benches around a store or a business, but that was something, interestingly, that was mentioned quite frequently in the focus groups that we did with Kupuna. That made a difference to them. They're like, oh, I like this one place because there's a bench that I can sit on, and rest, on long shopping trips. So that was something that was mentioned quite often in our focus groups. Next slide, please. And also with regards to accessibility, yeah, marking stairs, changes in floor elevation, if there are rugs on the floor, taping those down. Those are crucial ones. I mean, that's a safety issue for all. It's not just for Kupuna, but if Kupuna fall, it's a much bigger problem, than for younger people. Kupuna who fall are much more likely to break something and have to go to the hospital. So thinking about issues of safety around the business. Another good one is about installing lightweight automatic doors. And again, the ramp to make it accessible for individuals in wheelchairs, but also, mothers with strollers. These features, again, I consider are universal, make things easier, make life easier, for people of all ages and abilities. These age-friendly features are just really make life easier and are nice to have. Next slide, please. Other kinds of accessibility, related issues about where the products are placed and things being easy to reach. Again, the seating issue and the bench. Yeah, that was something that was mentioned quite often. Next slide, please. And so this is the fourth category of an age-friendly business. And again, this is just, you'll have these slides as a resource, but, I think there are other opportunities as well that you could brainstorm. But this is about customer service and the customer experience. And so how employees communicate and interact with customers. A good experience can just improve customer loyalty, but a bad experience, can really impact your business and whether people are return customers. And so in one of the focus groups, we heard a story from one older woman who said she was at a home improvement store, one of those really big ones with huge aisles, and she was looking for something in particular. And she asked one of the store employees, a young kid, and he took off you know, and he walked really fast, faster than she could keep up. And he didn't turn around to see if she was still behind him. And she knows that he's not intentionally being rude. It's just this level of empathy and awareness, that's needed on behalf of staff and employees, that, oh, maybe I need to, uh, take my time and make sure that she's behind me. And so, uh, and it's just that awareness. So it is truly customer service. Next slide, please. And so some of the tips in this area, being respectful and patient with all customers in general, but especially older adults and also younger individuals with disabilities as well. And staff training could also include like different signs that someone, like what to look out for. If someone needs like physical help or medical help, and what are you going to do and how can you assist? And then the other piece of it is, being on the lookout in case, for physical and financial abuse too. And so recently I did a training at Bank of Hawaii, and we were talking about financial exploitation, especially among their older customers. They're seeing this more and more often. Their older customers, they're getting concerned about how they're managing their money, and whether their son or daughter is taking money from them. So there's this financial exploitation piece, that's really central to the banks, of course. And so the bank employees, we talked about what are some of those signs, that someone might be financially abused. And then if things happen within the business space, falls or accidents, how to help and what to do with while preserving customer dignity. Next slide, please. And so I think the tricky part when it comes to training employees is the balance, because you do want to treat them like adults. They're not babies. So this idea of elder speak in that first bullet there, this talking to them, infantilizing them as if they were a child. That's a problem on the one hand, but at the same time, you do want that empathy and, the eye contact, and, speaking at a slower pace with eye contact. Those are all still good tips. And so sometimes there's a sensitivity to the individual and to the situation to know how to speak to that individual, and not assuming that they can't hear you or they can't understand you. Is something to be aware of too. So it's a challenge to train others in that, because it's really a sensitivity thing, because there are ways to better communicate with Kupuna, but be careful of not doing the elder speak, the baby talk, to infantilize them as well. Okay, so that's customer service. That's the customer experience piece. Next slide, please. I'm not going to play this video for you right now, but just some FYI. Professor Tana is going to put this or show this in class and make this available to you. But what we did for Kind to Kupuna, our age-friendly business initiative, is that we put together a series of PSAs, and they ran on KHON in 2019. So it's over now. But we wanted to just, like I was saying, bring awareness to the larger community that, hey, the city is committed in its city services and its city policies to be more inclusive to our kupuna and more accommodating to our kupuna. But now we want you guys to join in with us and be aware and to be more age friendly. And so in this particular case, we recruited this daughter, Sanai Tokumura, who cares for her mom, who's in her 90s at home. Mom does use a walker. She does have dementia, which means, she has memory loss. And so it is quite a challenge. It's quite a challenge to keep mom at home. Would it be easier to put her, honestly, in a nursing home or an assisted living? Yes. But to the daughter's credit, she feels very passionate about keeping mom at home and having as quote normal life as possible. So because she's in a walker, it's very difficult. I mean, it'd be much easier to also leave her at home, but she very, as you can imagine, but she feels very strongly about ensuring that her mom can still go out shopping with her, and or go out to her favorite restaurants. So that's what we mean by an age-friendly business. So she says in the video, I look for age-friendly places that I can take my mom. Yeah, age-friendly places that I can take my mom. So take a look at the video. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's quick. It's 30-second PSA, but it's a really nice video, and I applaud her and her efforts to really enrich her mom's life and keep it as normal as possible. But at the same time, as we launch, Kind to Kupuna over the last year or so, I also got an email from a gentleman who asked me, well, who are these businesses that are age friendly now? Can you give me a list? Because he had some really negative experiences at a restaurant. And he didn't say which one it is, but he was a guy taking care of his own father, and he needed to feed his father at these different restaurants. And he was told by the manager to not do that because you're upsetting the other customers. So, so he was really struck by that and hurt by that. So he asked me, who are these age-friendly businesses that have the empathy, have the understanding, and can see that, we're caregivers and we're trying to give back to our moms and our dads and take care of them, and we want them to be a part of community life. We want them to be out and about in the neighborhood, at the stores and restaurants. So who are these businesses that have that extra empathy, and willingness to accommodate for their needs? So take a look at that. Next slide, please. And then so finally, I want you to open your eyes and think about experiences within your own family with older relatives. Yeah, so connect this to your own lives. I think that helps. Think about a particular, instance or scenario with your own grandparents or an older a neighbor. I think that can help. So when you're out and about in the community, when you go to McDonald's, when you go to Zippy's, or anywhere really, what do you observe? When you see Kupuna out frequenting different types of businesses in all different sectors, not just the ones I mentioned, but all sorts of businesses in all different sectors. What are you, just be on the lookout, put on that age-friendly lens, and take a look and be observant and see what kind of problems there are and what kind of solutions there might be. And so the purpose of today's presentation is to just give you that kind of really broad overview. But in terms of what's coming next, there's going to be a few local businesses, that are interested in being age friendly, and they have a particular need, a particular request for you, and they need help, and so that's why they're going to be coming to class. And so this was intended to be a background, and I know it's a lot of material. The slides are available to you. I can make other resources available to you to help you as you move through the semester as well. So I'm very excited, and I wish you luck, and I look forward to seeing you in the classroom next time. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments in the final few minutes that we have? I know there are many things from a marketing perspective that you folks will need to go and review and see how they can be incorporated into this particular project. But hearing no questions from the group, I'll just say thanks, Christy, and
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks,
going.
everybody.
I'm going to push the button, and this will all come to an end. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.